I'm so glad you're here to join me in painting these three geese using watercolor. It's a simple and relaxing process perfect for beginners who want to enjoy being creative. These are the materials I have used, but feel free to use whatever you have on hand. Let's begin this calm and creative session with a light value of Prussian blue to sketch the shape of the goose. I start by drawing a triangular shape with curved edges for the body of the goose. Next, at the bottom of that triangle, I curve the line and also I suggest the beginning of the leg. At the top edge of the triangle, I extend a line to the right as shown in the video and also add a small circle for the goose head. This extended line forms the neck of the goose. If there are any sharp edges where the neck connects to the body, gently soften them into smooth curves. While drawing the neck, ensure it's slightly longer than the body we drew earlier. With this, the basic structure of the goose is complete. I mixed Prussian blue with a touch of permanent orange to create this muted bluish grey tone. I used a medium value of it to paint around the tummy area. Next, using a light value of the same bluish grey, I paint near the neck of the goose. After that, I switch to a medium value to paint under the head that is just beneath the beak of the goose. This helps to create the feeling that the head is sticking out while the neck curves inward, adding a nice sense of depth to the structure of the goose. Using a mix of permanent orange with a touch of Prussian blue, you get a warm brown shade which is used to paint the feet of the goose. After painting the feet, next we move on to paint the beak. Since the goose is facing directly towards the viewer, we will paint the beak in a different format. First, I use permanent orange to paint a small trapezium shape as shown in the video. Below that, I add a mirror image of the trapezium using a brown shade. Then, at the point where the top and bottom part meets, I draw a small line with Prussian blue to define the separation between them. I also lift a bit of pigment from the center of the top trapezium to create a subtle highlight. Once the beak is done, I use Prussian blue to paint the eyes on both sides, and with that we finished painting the first goose. Next, we are going to paint the second goose. I start by painting the body in a simple circular shape. On the left side of this circle, I add a few small feather details. Then on the right side, I add the neck and add a small circle on the top for the head. If there are any sharp edges where the neck connects to the body, I gently curl them to create a smooth transition so the whole structure of the goose feels more natural and unified. On the lower right side of the goose, I add a small extension to suggest where the leg begins. Next, I mix a small amount of permanent orange with Prussian blue to create a muted bluish grey, and I use that to paint the shadowed areas of the goose's tummy. For the neck, I use a lighter value of the same mix. Since this goose is turned slightly to the right, we don't need to add a medium value under the head like we did with the first one. Next, I'm trying to blend the medium value that we applied on goose's tummy to create a smooth transition into the lighter areas, which helps to suggest a more rounded form for the tummy. Honestly, I should have done this on the first goose too, it really adds a nice 3D effect. I also added a slightly darker value under the tummy to build up the depth. After that, I used a brown shade to paint the feet of the goose. For this goose, we have to paint one leg is planted firmly on the ground while the other is slightly lifted to give the impression that it's mid-step, like it's just casually walking along. Next, using permanent orange, I paint the beak, and with Prussian blue, I add the eye for the goose. Now that the second goose is finished, let's move on to the third one. This goose is in a different position, leaning slightly to the left, and it looks like it's playfully teasing or honking at the second goose. To start, we draw a simple D shape as shown in the video using a light value of Prussian blue. I extend the body shape to the right to form the tail, and on the left side, I stretch it out to create the neck of the goose. At the top of the neck, I add a small circle to represent the head of the goose. To avoid the body looking too flat, I slightly curve the straight line of the D shape upward, just a gentle hunch to give a natural look to the shape of the goose. Using a muted bluish-gray mix, I add shadow near the neck and tummy of the goose to bring in more depth. With Prussian blue, I add a little tweak at the tail as shown in the video. Then using permanent orange, I paint the beak and feet of the goose. Just like before, one foot stays grounded while the other is lifted, giving the sense that this goose is walking towards the second goose. I have created a practice video featuring 3 more geese in different poses for you to try out. I will be showing the final result at the end of this video. This practice section will be available on my Patreon for just $1. It's a simple way for those who would like to support me to contribute a little and gain access to some extra content. But please don't feel any pressure if you are not in position to support right now. That's completely okay. My goal is to share the ideas I envisioned, and I will continue doing so no matter what. Now, getting back to the painting process, the final step is adding the cast shadow for these geese. For this, I'm using a muted bluish-gray shade. I add a stroke under each goose and then use a clean, damp brush to soften the hard edges. And that's it, we have painted the cast shadow of these geese. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Here are 3 more geese in different poses that you can try yourself. If you would like to watch the painting process of these 3 geese, I will leave the link in the description. That's the end of the another wonderful painting session. See you in another video. Until then, take care and bye-bye from Prema.